Halldór Laxness is the voice of Iceland. Awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1955, he wrote about the Icelandic landscape and her fiercely independent people. His vivid descriptions of glaciers, waterfalls, and wild horses galloping across green hills capture the imagination. At least they captured my imagination. I live in Seattle, Washington, almost 4,000 miles from Iceland, and the island is a complete mystery to me. But I was fascinated by the imagery of Laxness. How can one little island that could fit inside the state of Kansas contain volcanoes, glaciers, waterfalls, and hot springs? Iceland seems almost mythical. And what about the Icelandic people? What are they like, and how do they live? What are their homes like? What do they eat? Didn't the entire country just go bankrupt? Frankly, I knew almost nothing about Iceland. But then again, maybe I'm not the only one. Iceland? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the green one, and Greenland's the ice one.
It has volcanoes. That's about it. And ice. And Vikings.
I'm a reasonably intelligent woman, and I know nothing about Iceland. I'm sorry.
So I was wondering if you knew anything about Iceland.
She does.
No, I've never been to Iceland, so all I know is it's melting.
Oh.
Yeah. That's about it.
It's green, isn't it? Then Greenland's ice. I've heard they have really good schools there.
I know it's a volcanic island. I know that it's got hot springs. I know it's beautiful, and I know the people are nice. And good beer. Expensive though, from what I hear.
I don't know much about Iceland. I hear it's not what you would expect just by hearing the name. So, other than that, I don't know a whole lot. Volcanoes? Hot springs, maybe?
It gets very cold and very windy and icy there. There's some very dangerous storms.
That's my son, Benjamin. Like everyone else I talk to, Iceland seems like a mysterious and maybe even a dangerous place. There's only one way to find the answers to all these questions, and to satisfy my curiosity about Iceland, and that's to go there, to explore the land and to meet the people. But much of Iceland is an uninhabited wilderness. It turns out that 65% of Iceland's 330,000 inhabitants live in the capital city of Reykjavik, and that makes the rest of Iceland a very lonely place. There is a road called the Ring Road that runs all the way around the island, connecting most of the inhabited parts of the country. But the interior of Iceland is called the Highlands, and it's largely uninhabited. It consists of vast stretches of rugged volcanic desert and mountains, punctuated by 3 immense glaciers. This lunar landscape can only be traversed from June to August on rugged roads made of crushed volcanic rock and sand. High-clearance four-wheel drive vehicles are required in order to traverse the glacier-fed river crossings, which are unpredictable and dangerous. The perfect vehicle to explore these variable conditions is the adventure motorcycle. These versatile machines have high ground clearance, long travel suspension, crash bars, and panniers that carry the camping equipment, food, and tools that allow riders to be totally self-sufficient. There are very few places an adventure motorcycle can't go. So, my friend Kevin Blathing and I decided that we would explore Iceland on adventure motorcycles. But to really get to know this place, We would also meet Icelanders and ask them to share their stories with us, to tell us about their lives, their homes, their history, their food, and their culture. We would first travel around Iceland on the ring road, clockwise from Reykjavik, visiting the more inhabited coastal areas. And then, accompanied by a local guide, we would explore the Highlands and the mountain roads of the interior. Along the way, we would stay in whatever accommodations we could find: camping, hostels, mountain huts, and guest houses. It was a pretty loose plan. Our only agenda was to explore Iceland by motorbike, to meet as many people as possible, and to actually see where the glacier meets the sky. At my house in Seattle, I packed up all the gear that one typically takes on an Icelandic motorbike adventure. It was a bit of a challenge. I had to fit my boots, armored riding suit, tent, stove, sleeping bag, first aid kit, water filter, tools, 4 cameras, tripod, microphone, extra batteries, and an assortment of odds and ends, all into 2 check bags and 1 carry-on. My riding partner, Kevin, he lives in Kansas. Kevin and I met up at the JFK airport in New York, and together we caught a flight to Reykjavik. Reykjavik was founded by Ingolfur Einarsson in 871 AD. He named it Reykjavik, which means Smoky Bay, after the steam that he saw rising from geothermal vents across the island. Reykjavik is both the cultural and political capital of Iceland and the northernmost capital of any country in the world. The population of 120,000 residents enjoys one of the cleanest, greenest, and safest cities anywhere in the world. Overall, the temperature in Reykjavik is pretty mild. It rarely drops below 5 degrees Fahrenheit because the weather is moderated by the warm waters of the Gulf Stream. I was surprised to learn that beer was banned in Iceland until 1989. However, they're making up for lost time. Reykjavik is now world famous for its weekend nightlife. There are over 100 bars and clubs in the city alone, and locally crafted beers are now the Icelanders' alcoholic drink of choice. The most prominent architectural feature in Reykjavik is called Hallgrímskirkja. This immense church. Hold on. Yeah, I said Hallgrímskirkja. Can I just point out that the Icelandic language is one of the most challenging languages I've ever heard. You've got names like Hafnarfjordur, Vatnajökull, Þingvellir, and the infamous and unpronounceable volcano Eyjafjallajökull. I'm sure I butchered all of those, but believe me, I'm trying. Now, where was I? Ah, yes. The unusual shape on the exterior of Hallgrímskirkja represents the volcanic basalt found throughout the island. Outside is a massive statue of Leif Erikson, the first European to venture to North America. After our whirlwind tour of Reykjavik, Kevin and I made our way to our first stop, Viking. Since shipping our own motorcycles to Iceland from the US would have been prohibitively expensive, we opted to rent fully equipped BMW GS800s from Viking.
My name is Þórarinn, and I'm called Thor. And we are a rental here in Reykjavik. Rent out BMWs for touring in Iceland. We call it Viking. Breathtaking. All our customers have enjoyed renting our bikes and seeing the country. It gives you more contact to the country, and you get more of a feel to feel the weather and smells, and your senses get more aligned to touring around Iceland.
After the mechanics prepared and delivered our bikes, Kevin and I loaded up our gear. For the next week, we would travel more than 1,000 miles around Iceland and back to Reykjavik. We would then resupply and pick up a local guide from Viking that would accompany us during our week-long exploration of the Highlands. But for now, we were on our own. So we hit the road to see what Iceland had to offer. So, we are at the end of our first day of riding in Iceland. Started about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, leaving Reykjavik, and after we picked up our bikes from Viking, and rode until about 11 o'clock. It's now 11:10 and it's still quite bright daylight outside. We rode out into the Westlands. The ride out there was spectacular. Beautiful green valleys, cliffs, alternating sun and rain, lots of Icelandic ponies and goats, a couple of goats ran in the road in front of us. The wind was just extraordinarily challenging. 45-mile-an-hour crosswinds. You had to lean the bike almost sideways to keep it from being blown off the highway. You know, it's hard not to stop every 5 minutes because there's just another amazing waterfall or snowfield or green valley or sea view. And I've come to this little village, which I'm going to horribly mispronounce. I believe it's Grundafjordur or something like that. And it's a little hamlet, maybe a mile long. A few hundred people probably live there. Had a nice meal. And now we found a campground that's just at where this creek comes out from this waterfall behind me. We set up our camp there for the evening. And we're just enjoying another Viking beer and excited to get some sleep to get ready for tomorrow. The following day we made our way east on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula towards the small town of Bjarnarhofen. Along the way, we stopped to admire some of the Icelandic horses that seemed to fill the countryside. Although their small stature makes them look like ponies, they are in fact horses. And this is the only breed of horse on Iceland because all other breeds have been prohibited from importation since 982 AD. These are the hardy ancestors of the first horses imported by Iceland's Nordic settlers in the 9th and 10th centuries. Natural selection and breeding have made them perfectly suited for the harsh Icelandic weather and terrain. However, in 1784, they were nearly wiped out. Around 70% of the horses in Iceland were killed by volcanic ash poisoning and starvation after the eruption of the volcano Lakagigar. Over the next 100 years, the population slowly recovered, and Iceland is now home to more than 80,000 of them. Reluctantly, we left our new friends and followed a lonely road towards the sea, towards the Bjarnarhofen Shark Museum. I had heard that this was where an infamous Icelandic delicacy called hakuth was produced from the meat of the Greenland shark. When fresh, Greenland shark meat is fatally poisonous due to high concentrations of urea and trimethylamine oxide. To make the shark edible, and I use that word loosely, the meat is fermented by burying it in the beach for 3 to 4 weeks, and then by hanging it in outdoor sheds for 3 to 4 months. The result is horrifying, even to some of the world's most adventurous eaters. Celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain called it the single worst, most disgusting and terrible thing he's ever tasted. Andrew Zimmerman from the Travel Channel's Bizarre Foods television show described the smell as reminding him of some of the most horrific things I've ever breathed in my entire life. He went on to say, "That's hardcore, that's serious food. You don't want to mess with that. It's not for beginners." That sounds like a bit of a challenge. So, of course, we'll have to try some. We headed inside the museum to learn more and to confront this culinary monstrosity.
And these
Deep
shark
sea
are,
fish.
they're poisonous if you were to eat them.
Yes,
Fresh, yeah.
because it has a lot of ammonia.
The ammonia.
Yeah. So we keep it in this box. 6 weeks here in the box. So most of the ammonia go out, so is it dry. 3-4 months.
3-4 months. Oh,
Yeah.
6 weeks in the box, and then
Yeah.
3-4 months on the drying racks.
Yes.
And are there any spices or anything added to it?
No, salt or nothing.
Just salt.
No, not salt, just the fish.
Mm. Okay.
So here is shark, this is bread. You eat it together. Take a piece of shark, piece of bread, together.
Okay. Bread seems like it's an important part of it.
Or water. In order to water.
An hors d'oeuvre, yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh. Wow. You can taste that ammonia. The bread is key, I can see.
To have a bread in
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good bread too. The bread is very good. It's a nice rye.
Yes, a little bit sweet, so it's good together.
Yeah. Well, that's not nearly as horrible as I thought it was going to be.
I thought it was going to be salty or something.
Well, it's got a very strong ammonia taste that you don't typically get. And it's not part of our culture's cuisine. We don't have food that has that ammonia flavor to it.
Have you not? What do you mean?
In America, I can't think of a food that we eat that has an ammonia taste to it or has ammonia in it. Can you?
Some cheese have a little bit ammonia taste.
So what did you think about that shark that we just tried?
Well, I tell you what, it had a little bit of bite to it.
You ever had anything like that at all?
No, I haven't.
But you've had shark before?
Yep, I've had it grilled.
Mm.
It actually is good grilled.
Yeah, that's the sensible way to eat it, I think.
Quick, let's get out of here and get some trail mix.
As we worked our way up the west coast, Iceland's otherworldly terrain continued to unfold. Piles of loose volcanic rock were blanketed in deep layers of moss. It's no wonder that many Icelanders believe that they share their island with hudafolk, or hidden people. These elven creatures are said to live in special rocks that, if moved, can have disastrous consequences. Many Icelanders take this threat very seriously. A 2007 survey of 1,000 students at the University of Iceland found that 62% believed that elves exist. In 2013, a major highway project on the Álftanes Peninsula was halted while the Icelandic Supreme Court decided on the potential detrimental impact of the project on elf culture. A folklore professor at the University of Iceland said he's not surprised by the wide acceptance of the possibility of elves. He said, "This is a land where your house can be destroyed by something you can't see, earthquakes, where the wind can knock you off your feet, where the smell of sulfur from your taps tells you that invisible fire is not far below your feet, where the northern lights make the sky the biggest television screen in the world, and where hot springs and glaciers talk." In short, everyone is aware that the land is alive, and one can say that the stories of hidden people and the need to work carefully with them reflects an understanding that the land demands your respect.
I think that it has something to do with elves. Go down to the bottom of those and you look around, there's Keebler cookie wrappers. I know there's been elves if there's those Keebler cookie wrappers.
It's 2:30 in the morning. I can't decide if the sun is going up or coming down, but regardless, it's still light outside. It's kind of cool. Today we rode from the Westlands in Iceland, this little bit of this finger of land that sticks out west, and then we rode north into the West Fjords. Very windy today. Beautiful, beautiful views around every corner, and I found ourselves camped out on top of this hill with this spectacular view. And even better than the view is down below, right on the ocean's edge, there's a natural hot springs, which is just divine. The temperature is 99 degrees, just perfect, overlooking the ocean with the snow-capped mountains of the West Fjord in the background. Just spectacular. Iceland is an amazing place.
We pushed further into the West Fjords. This large peninsula sticks out into the Denmark Strait and points west towards the southeast coast of Greenland. It's a massive peninsula and beautiful, but it's sparsely populated because it is so inaccessible. The roads are closed by ice and snow for several months of the year. The terrain is mountainous, and the coastline is heavily indented by dozens of fjords surrounded by steep hills. We followed the twisty roads through the fjords, enjoying some of Iceland's most spectacular views. The West Fjords end dramatically at the Latrebjerg Bird Cliffs. This is the westernmost point in Europe. These cliffs are nearly 1,500 feet high and 9 miles long. The intense winds make standing near the edge of the cliffs feel like a bit of a gamble. The cliffs are home to millions of birds, northern gannets, razorbills, and Iceland's most famous bird, the Atlantic puffin. These puffins are called the clowns of the sea for obvious reasons. These adorable little birds cling to the windy cliffs, burrowing and nesting right along the edge. They hardly seemed to notice we were there. I was surprised to see that puffins were on the menu in restaurants across Iceland. Salted, smoked, and baked. First, putrid shark, and now the clowns of the sea? I was starting to get the impression that on an island with very few natural resources, no source of protein can be left off the menu, even if it is adorable. In the small town of Scharakroka, I saw a woman sitting with a smile in the yard of her little house, petting her dog. Her name was Christina, and her dog's name was Freya. I sat down with Christina, and I asked her, what's the most important thing for people to know about Iceland?
Mm-hmm. You never know what to expect the next day. And it is full of wonders. And every time when I travel, I see something new, something beautiful. It is like I say, it's full of wonders. It depends very much on the weather, how that is each time. Some places are beautiful in sun and good weather, and then you can feel they are terrible if the weather is no good. So, I don't know, but we love it as it is. Miserable. And now probably we are a bit like that too, a lot of changes in our mood. Oh, they will treat you like you treat them, I think. Most of them. But, of course, people are different here like they are everywhere. But I've been very, very lucky all my life. I have only met good people, wherever I've been. And I think what you give to people, you get it back. That's my experience. This house version, my in-laws' house, my husband's parents, they lived here for 60-something years. So it's a family heirloom now. But I have lost my husband, so it's no longer. This town is very nice. In my eyes, beautiful town, and very, very peaceful. This is called Sauðárkrókur, and it means sheep river hook.
Oh.
It's a very funny name. Sauður, that's a sheep. Árkrókur, means river, and then it's like a, you know, hook. The shape of it. Lamb meat. Every part of the lamb is delicious. And in the old days, when people were very, very poor, they were mostly farmers, and the sheep was really, you know, what kept Icelanders alive. They used every part of it for something. Even the horn, they make spoon from horns, and the wool kept us warm in the winter. Everything was made from wool, sheets and all clothes. The Icelandic sheep wool is very special. It has got a rough part outside who keeps the water away. What is next to the sheep is very, very soft. Scrape it, but it is a beautiful, beautiful wool. The house was built 1887. It's like I said, it's not very modern, but I love it. And it has got history. Yeah, it is. I like it. It's sort of you feel it holds you tight. That's a feeling I get here. I would really like to give you a cup of coffee. Would you like?
That would be great. I'd love that.
Yeah, and your friend as well.
I'll go get him.
I think it's not really coffee, the coffee itself. I think it's our clean, beautiful water who makes it better than everywhere else. I was once asked what I missed most from Iceland, and I said a clear little creek running through my garden with ice cold water. They are beautiful. You've seen those little creeks that comes from the mountains? Oh, that is water. I would kneel down and drink from it. I did that as a kid. When I was running after the sheep or horses, you know, and very sweating and tired, I just, you know, threw myself down and drank like a horse, you know. And that was good. My family, yeah, we were 8 brothers and sisters, and I was born in a turf house, like they built in old days, stone and turf, very small, but usually warm. You know, on the wall there is my family, you see. You know, that's when they graduate from high school. This is my oldest grandson there.
This one here?
Yeah, and on the other side is I with my youngest son. He's now 65 today. This is my youngest daughter up there when she was 2 years old. And here is my grandmother and mom. The history tells us that the land was covered with forest, and the sea was full of fish, and the rivers full of salmons and trout. So I think that was not so very hard if they managed to build them a decent place to live in during winter. But the winter was probably very hard on them. But then they started destroying the forest. They chopped it all up for fire and house buildings, of course. to. The first settlers, they were not peaceful people. They were Vikings who were leaving Norway because of the aggressive king who was taking over. They didn't want to be under him. And those became Vikings. They just went and robbed and killed people in other countries and took slaves and then settled here in Iceland. So our ancestors were not very peaceful people. Have you read anything from the author Halldór Laxness? Not a book who has the name Independent People. That was about a very stubborn farmer. My father was a bit like that fellow in that story I'm telling you about. And he would never wanted to borrow anything or get anything from others. He was very honest, and he never got anything from others without paying it straight away. And he brought us up that way. And I didn't even know it was money, until I was about 10. Then I saw the first money. But of course he sold the lamb slaughter at the autumn time, and then they were sold to the villages, and then that brought home sugar and flour and oatmeal and things like that in big sacks. But that was supposed to last all winter. And it did usually. Had to. Yeah, I think the people who are in the politics now, they are not very wise, in my opinion. They have been at school all their life, and they haven't been working hard. They don't know what it is to work for their living, if you know what I mean. They were born rich, most of them, I think, or at least their parents have been providing for them. Then they come out of school and they think they know everything, and they go into politics, and then it proves that they know not enough, at least. That is at least I can say. And I think they haven't got a clue how to run their country. Most of them, sorry to say. But I think they would be very angry with me if they heard me. But anyway, I don't really trust politicians anymore. People want they want to get things from others, and they doesn't seem to want to work too much for their living. In old days, people just didn't mind working hard, but now it seems to me that they don't really want to work so much.
We thanked Christina for her hospitality and for sharing her thoughts about Iceland with us. As we rode our motorcycles east, across the north of the island, I imagined Christina as a young girl, running through these hills with the sheep and the horses, and drinking alongside them from ice-cold streams. A motorcycle is a very intimate way to experience a place. In a car, you drive through the landscape, detached in your climate-controlled, air-filtered steel and glass bubble. But on a motorcycle, you are immersed within the landscape, steeped in unobstructed views. You are a part of it. And the ground is just there, inches away. You regularly touch it with the soles of your feet. The risk of falling off a motorcycle and being swallowed by the landscape is real. But that risk must be carefully balanced against the risk of never really experiencing a place at all. As we rode through alternating rain and sunshine, the smells of Iceland filled our helmets: grass, horses, salty sea air, fields of wildflowers, all mixed together in an exotic perfume that is uniquely Icelandic. Iceland seems to have mastered the art of spilling water dramatically off volcanic cliffs. And nowhere is that more apparent than in northern Iceland. We had seen so many beautiful waterfalls that we were beginning to become immune to their charms. But the sheer power of the Dettifoss waterfall cannot be ignored. Dettifoss is said to be the largest and most powerful waterfall in all of Europe. An immense wall of water spills off a cliff 300 feet wide and 150 feet tall. The air is filled with tiny droplets of water, and the sound of pounding water is overwhelming. For what they lack in power, the Godafoss and Selfoss waterfalls make up for in sheer beauty. Godafoss means waterfall of the gods. In the year 1000, the Icelandic law speaker Thorgir Thorkelson made Christianity the official language of Iceland. After his conversion, it is said that he threw his statues of the Norse gods into this waterfall, giving it its name. Maybe because it is geologically young, Iceland seems closer to a primordial earth, closer to nature. It is this feeling, this desire to be close to the earth and to nature that brings many people to Iceland.
We're just outside of Iceland, and now we're over here on the, almost towards the east coast of Iceland. And we were gonna make it to Iceland, but it got late and we got tired and cold, so we stopped at this guest house. And this appears to be a place where the reindeer are herded, because there's reindeer antlers all over the lodge. And I had a reindeer burger for dinner and some lamb stew, which was delicious. Lamb is a staple of the Icelandic diet. You can see that I'm sitting here on these Icelandic sheepskins. The sheep are prolific, they're everywhere, running wild. You have to be careful riding a motorcycle, you don't hit one, particularly if there's a mother on one side of the road and the lambs on the other, because they're separated, and when they get spooked by the sound of the motorcycle, they tend to want to get back together. Today we're going to continue east and then start to head south. Once we go through Iceland, we'll be in East Iceland.
Now on the eastern side of the island, we headed south with the Norwegian Sea on our left. We passed through a few of Iceland's 11 tunnels. These tunnels are built under mountains and the sea to provide access to remote communities that would otherwise be cut off during the long winter months. At 4 miles long, the Hvalfjordur Tunnel is among the longest underwater road tunnels anywhere in the world. It was a little unnerving inside of this tunnel to know that we were more than 540 feet below sea level. We emerged from the tunnel and found the small town of Djúpivogur, where an unusual sight caught our eye. 2 whale skeletons guarded a small hut. The yard was filled with an odd collection of bones, artifacts, fossils, and folk art. Even the dog seemed a little unusual. Inside the hut, the walls were crammed with more Icelandic geological oddities, including the owner. He was covered in animal bones. They were hanging from his jacket, on his fingers, and around his neck. The white wings of a bird were attached to each side of his hat. What a unique character. I sat down with him to see what I could learn about Iceland.
My name is Free Willy. That's why my skeleton is outside. But on Icelandic it's a very complicated name. Do you want it? Vilmundur Sigurþór Þorgrímsson.
I'm not sure I can say that.
Oh, it's heavy. Vilmundur means working hand. Sigurþór is the winner of the Thor, the god. And Þorgrímsson is the guy who is very courage. So all our Icelandic name means something. And they are usually from the past. Yeah, Iceland is a very unique land. I know very much about geology and earth geology of the earth. That's my favorite. That's why my stone collection is here. So all our animal on the planet comes from this mineral. Whatever you believe, whatever is your God, this is the first step we come from. Where the material comes then from and where our universe comes from, that's another answer. But all your instinct, all your cells, all your bones, the iron in the blood comes from the minerals. But you cannot eat it. Someone has to do it before. So the vegetable, the grass, the sheep, the cow, they do it for you. So we are on the top. And Iceland is one of the unique land in our planet. It's both young and old. And the unique with the Iceland is that it's on the crack who follows the earth from North Pole to South Pole. And we are exactly on the crack. But all the crack, all the way from North Pole to South Pole, is on the bottom of the ocean. So why is Iceland on the surface? That's the reason for it, because under the Iceland is also a hot bubble, just like Hawaii Island. And when you have a hot bubble with lower mass than other around you, it lifts up. It's floating like ice on a lake or a sea. So Iceland is floating above this bubble. That's why Iceland is on the top, with the crack. So we are made by 2 big forces. This crack, who makes the Iceland get wider every year, about 2 centimeters. And the bubble, who is a giant energy, about 300 kilometers wide, and we don't know how deep. And they are big, one bubble and the one little big with side, who is, if you look over Iceland, you can see the glaciers on the southeast coast, and under this glacier are the main volcanoes area. Because the ice age take all the other mountains and scratch them down, but under the ice, Glacier is the newest mountain from last ice age and even from many others. So there they are building up in the same way the ice is digging them down. But the building is rather quick, so they get higher and higher under the ice. They are dangerous. Iceland is one of the dangerous countries in the planet. Volcano in Iceland. We lost 80% of our animals and 2/3 of the people. And many in Europe, many million people were starving to death after this disaster. That is 200 years ago. It is called the lava. It's one biggest lava who has been running last 10,000 years. And the pollution was giant. The sky was cloudy and smoky for 6 years. And our volcano who is blowing the last years is just a baby. But the Icelandic are very proud of the past, because they didn't understand, the old people, that you had something else. You don't have any palace, you don't have any big farms. So the only thing they could be proud of was the hero on the Viking time. And they have lived with it all the way today. And we didn't have anything else in Iceland. We didn't have forest, we didn't have animals, wild horses or cow or anything. So around Icelandic history, you couldn't fight with anything else than people or the ghost. And they are everywhere. So when you don't have anything in a country, you start to make stories. Hidden people, ghosts, endless ghost stories. My favorite in Iceland is, of course, the emptiness in the country. That is no human, no animals. That's a privilege to live in a country like this. You are safe, no lions, no tigers, but you have also a less opportunity. You cannot live, you don't get meat. Reindeers are rather new, you know, in our land. The only thing you had was the birds, and they go away on the winter, except the one snow hen. So I have it on my head because I was a professional hunter. So I had to pay my price next 30 years. I killed a few thousand. So most of Iceland were fishermen. Mermail and the animal in Iceland are in the sea. So the resorts of eatable things are in the sea, except you make farming. And that was very difficult on these times. It's endless, man. For people to do is only one reason people are coming to Iceland, to see the nature. Here is the shaping of the land. Here is the birth of the land, how many other lands has been born. And here can you see it happen and making. So it's very necessary to look around you and have something information about the land. It's an open diary for people.
We left Vilmundur with a deeper appreciation and understanding of Iceland's geology and culture. The ring road carried us across the southern coast, west towards Reykjavik. We rode through small villages and rolling green hills with a backdrop of volcanic cliffs and waterfalls. Eventually, the massive Vatnajökull Glacier appeared on the horizon. Vatnajökull covers more than 8% of Iceland and is one of the largest glaciers in Europe. Underneath this cap of ice, there are several active volcanoes. Another prominent feature of southern Iceland is the Skogafoss waterfall. Local legend holds that a Viking settler named Thraci Thorolfsson buried a chest full of treasure in a cave behind this 200-foot wall of water. If ever there was a setting for buried Viking treasure, this was it. Finally, we had circumnavigated Iceland and returned to Viking in Reykjavik. We were here to pick up our local guide for the Highlands. His name was Hjortur, and he's a bit of a local legend.
Well, he's been riding motorcycles since before the sun, and he knows pretty much every rock in Iceland. He's very easygoing, but also has story about every corner of the country. Without a doubt, worth every penny.
My name is Hjortur Leonard Jonsson, and I'm born in 1960, and I normally work on a petrol station and tire shop, and lubricated cars for change oil, and small repairing like brake parts and stuff like that. And I'm a boss on that station, so I actually run that station. And in my spare time, since 2003, I have done the Viking tours for the company Viking for rent motorcycles, and as a guide. They say I'm a guide, but I never look at me as a guide. I more look at me as the man who is changing tubes and tires, and be the security man for the people who is driving with, because the situation of driving motorcycle in Iceland is quite different than anywhere else. So sometimes the wind curve can be so strong on that road you are meaning to go, and we maybe have to take a loop or something like that. It is rather cold. Most of the days the temperature does not go any further up than 50 degrees Celsius. So usually you have to dress quite well to drive the motorcycle. Most of the riding days we are driving in a temperature around from 6 to 12, some there between. But I have often ridden for days in 1, 2, 3 and 4 degrees. You have to have appropriate gear to ride a motorcycle in with that kind of situation.
Kevin and I followed Hjortur out of Reykjavik and north into the Highlands. Our first stop was Thingvellir. Thingvellir is the site of the first Icelandic parliament, established in 930 AD. This makes Iceland the oldest continuously functioning democracy in the world. This is also the place where the Eurasian and North American tectonic plates meet. This is the crack in the Earth's surface that Vilmundur told me about. Here you can literally stand with 1 foot in Europe and 1 in North America. Nearby are 2 of Iceland's most famous attractions, Glacier and Strókur. Every few minutes, eruptions of boiling water shoot dozens of feet into the air. We left behind the geysers and headed deeper into the Highlands. Hjortur led us away from the main road and onto a trail crossing a lava field. The trail quickly became so rough that it virtually disappeared. We were having a hard time crossing the rugged terrain, and we weren't the first travelers to struggle here. In early winter 1780, this area gained notoriety when 2 brothers froze to death in a snowstorm with hundreds of their newly purchased sheep. Their remains were found close by the trail, by what is now called Bone Hill. It got its name from the bones of the hundreds of animals that covered the landscape for decades. Many Icelanders believe that the area is haunted or cursed because of this tragic event. We certainly had our fair share of difficulty, including picking up a screw in Kevin's tire. We retreated from this lava field before Kevin's tire could deflate to repair the tire on level ground. After using our best-dressed tire repair kit to patch the hole, we pushed further into the Highlands.
We are overpassing the middle of Highland of Iceland. On Iceland we have three big, very big glaciers called Langjökull, Hofsjökull, Vatnajökull. We go first over passing route number 35, was called Kjölur. It's between Langjökull and Hofsjökull. That has been a national way to cross over Iceland since the land was built in the year of 900. When you reach about 350 meters over sea level, there is almost nothing growing there. You see only gravel and stones and rocks for many, many kilometers. There is not much growing except in the bank of those rivers we will cross. There is a little green area close to the rivers and almost nothing there between. And driving over one day in Iceland, no matter what it is, ring road number 1 or the Highland, the landscape will change on every 20 minutes, no matter where you go. And it does even change more often up in the Highland because it's so twisty, the roads. You are, when you are driving some 20 kilometers road, it's so twisty that you are driving in all directions, so you actually have a view to the all direction when you are driving.
Who's going to throw his stone closest to the stone?
Oh, okay. I think it's got to land and be close. Has to land close. Go ahead.
Whoever's stone is the closest.
Go ahead.
I already went.
You did? Listen, I'm going to tell you something. You guys don't ever go into a knife fight without a gun.
That was a good one.
I like that.
We had made our way to the remote Kurlingafjall mountain village. This rest stop provides travelers with a warm meal, cabins, and access to natural hot springs. We were cold, wet, hungry, and ready to soak away days of hard riding. Beautiful day of riding, wide open, no trees, just all rocks. It looks like kind of a moonscape with snow-capped peaks off in the distance. And had a bit of excitement today when Kevin crashed. Went into a corner, his front tire dug in and just plowed into the bank. He wasn't hurt, but can't say the same for his left pannier. Took a pretty good whack. With a little bit of Icelandic engineering, we got it back together, fortunately.
Oder? Oder. Feel good.
And so we've made it to our accommodations for the night. 2 beds in this little A-frame shack. It's kind of a little, I don't know, mountain village. After settling into our hut, we headed to the dining cabin for a hearty meal of what the Icelanders call meat soup. The meat in meat soup is lamb, and it's delicious. We washed it down with a little Icelandic beer and finished off with some Icelandic skyr yogurt for dessert. About a mile up a muddy trail into the mountains, I found a hot springs tucked into the bank of an ice-cold river. Of all the treasures that Iceland has to offer, I think these little hidden hot pots are my favorite. Reluctantly, we left the comfort of our little hut and followed Hjortur across the Icelandic highlands. In my normal life, I'm constantly engaged with some sort of technology, or I'm in meetings, or I'm consuming someone else's content or ideas or agenda. Computers, smartphones, television, and the internet fill my head with noise. But here, in the quiet of the highlands, inside my helmet, for 8 to 12 hours each day, I was alone. To think my own thoughts, to talk to myself, and to just be present. And on more than one occasion, being completely present in the intense beauty of this place brought me to tears. Lava, glaciers, volcanoes, and water shape this place. And traveling through the highlands means dealing with each of these natural forces in one form or another. Water in particular. We had to cross dozens of rivers, creeks, and streams. Each one of these crossings was potentially dangerous. Depths and flow are always changing. The material at the bottom could be loose or it could be firm.
The material is so loose in the bottom that it can slide us down by the stream. So we maybe have to pull or steer a little bit to the left upstream.
Misjudging any of these factors could mean being washed downstream in frigid waters or drowning the motorcycle. At best, this is inconvenient, and at worst, it could be life-threatening.
Where are we going?
Having spent a few days riding and camping with Hjortur across the Highlands, we learned that there's more to him than meets the eye. He's not just a mechanic and a guide. He's also a community organizer, charitable fundraiser, a product reviewer with columns published in Icelandic newspapers. He rounds up sheep in the Highlands on his motorcycle, and he's a master of several motorcycle disciplines including motocross, trials riding, and racing on frozen lakes with spiked tires. He is always calm, and he always is smoking his pipe.
When I was on my VFR 750 on the street tires, it had a great grip. And certainly came a Honda XR 600 and passed me. I'm not used to be overtaken on a gravel road, so I pulled the throttle on and I went after those off-road riders, and I saw 160 on the tachometer on that twisty road, and when I saw it, that was XR 600, I had gone twice a little bit off the road, and I decided this is enough. I'm not gonna get those kids that answers to hold me behind him, but I will get him off the road, and it will be accident, so I just slow down. But also my wife was on back.
She thought about that.
Yeah, she was not very happy. Most of the time it was banging on my. It was too fast, too fast.
Our reward for crossing countless icy streams and enduring relentless winds was rest and relaxation at a remote camp in the Highlands called Lagafell. Lagafell is located about 20 kilometers from the Hafsjökull Glacier and consists of several huts kept warm year-round by geothermal heating. Hjortur, who seems to know everyone on Iceland, introduced us to the hut keeper, who was a long-time friend.
My name is Friðgeir Axfjörð, and we are in Laugafell, which is almost in the middle of Iceland. This hut, it is called Þórunarbúð, this hut. There are a few huts here, which are rented out. The hot spring is water, it's 40 degrees hot water, just comes out of the ground, and we don't have to drill or dig or anything, it just comes. And the only thing that was done here was to put the stones around to keep the water in a pool. And there it is. It just takes care of itself. The water is, it's not mixed or blended or anything, it just comes 40 degrees in and cools a little bit, of course. But it's very close to the body temperature, so it's very relaxing to be there. One of the pearls of Iceland is this hot pool here, and it's famous. A lot of people come from far away to get to it. Well, Iceland is two things that I first think of. It's wilderness and power. For instance, here hot water just flows out of the ground on a few spots, well, many spots here in this area. The little streams, they're a little bit hot. If you put your hand, you feel it's not cold. So I think that's very precious here in Iceland to have this. But the problem with wilderness is also that you cannot both invite people to it and enjoy it. I mean, as soon as others come and enjoy it with you, it's gone. It's not wilderness anymore. Of course, we have lived by fishing for decades, but now, last 2 or 3 years, tourism is making more money than fish in Iceland the first time. So maybe tourists are now our new fish. But I think about 1 million tourists will come this year, and Icelanders are only 320,000, so 1 million is a lot.
Yeah.
And Iceland is not so big, but we are honest and straightforward. I hope, and yeah. But we are. Whereas here, I like to meet people and make them comfortable here, and I don't know what it's called in English. What is in Icelandic is called gestrisni. It means receiving guests well. I hope Icelanders do that. Yeah, I hope they're like that, and yeah. But maybe we are marked by a little bit of rough background. I mean, originally, way back, we were Vikings and then sailors, and the Iceland has always had a rough weather, rough conditions, eruptions, earthquakes. So maybe, yeah, maybe we live a little bit for today. Well, that's nice. There's ghost stories and elf stories. I don't think the modern Icelanders believes in that, but there are a few that do, and the others have a lot of tolerance for it and like it in a way. And even the road authorities, they sometimes, when they're making a road, if there's an elf stone, they put the road a little bit aside to avoid it, not to make them angry. That's nice. It costs a little bit money, but I think that makes our society a little bit more special and nice. Some people see elves and even talk to them, and they have a lot of signs to indicate that they're angry. For instance, there's a lot of stories about the bulldozers and trucks that they use to make roads, and they move wrong stone. Then everything starts to fail and break down and things like that. So that's how the elves tell them that it's not, they should not touch this stone. So
we had 2 flat tires yesterday.
Yeah, maybe you didn't talk to the elves. I don't know, it's my home. I love this wilderness, the Highland. I love it. I think that's precious, and you don't find that in other countries so much. For instance, this landscape here around, it looks like the moon, and the astronauts from USA, the Apollo astronauts, they came here in 1960 something to practice moonwalk, so maybe the moonwalk was invented here, I don't know. Anyway, they came here because they're so similar. But here, if you look over it and it's just black, you think there's nothing here, no flowers, no grass, nothing. But when you look down, then you see a lot of small plants, very small, and they live for a very short time in the summer. But they're everywhere. So it looks like a desert, but it is not really. There's life everywhere. Well, when the financial crisis came, it affected me personally that I lost the little I had, it was not much, and I sold my bike and haven't had bike since. So, and the problem is that I think a lot of foreigners misunderstand the situation. They think that the people rose up against the banks and refused to pay and such. It's not right. The government made obviously a decision that they the most important thing was to rebuild the banks, and with money from the state, of course, which is the people. So that's what they did, and we are paying now the banks. The banks all since 2008. Banks have had profit every year, and very much profit last year. So they are going very much up, but the people is the inequality has increased a lot in Iceland, and also poor people. It's more poor people now. I think people is optimistic. Some people have more money than they had. That's the people that are on the right side of this inequality scale, but more people is also has less. So yeah, because before the crisis, Iceland was pretty even. There was not so much poor people, and not so many rich, not so very rich, until just the last 2 or 3 years before the crisis.
Our time in the Highlands and in Iceland was drawing to a close. As we followed Hjortur away from the cabins at Lagafell and rode between glaciers, volcanoes, and rivers, I reflected on what I had seen and what I had learned about Iceland. As small as it looks on the globe, it could take a lifetime to fully explore this island. There are so many beautiful things to see, mysterious and hidden, waiting for discovery. And that's the most amazing thing about Iceland. All these natural wonders feel untouched, wild, and pure, as if you're the first one to discover them. Initially, the Icelandic people seem reserved. You might even think they're aloof, but that's because they're focused and determined. They're busy building a life for themselves and their families in a place where that demands hard work and perseverance. But when you get to know them, you learn that they are direct, warm, and they are kind. And when I think about how best to describe Iceland, I remember what Christina told me. I think that she said it best.
You never know what to expect the next day. And it is full of wonders.
Dream myself a child again, and you were by my side, imagining ourselves out where the glacier meets the sky, and on the backs of giants together we would ride and keep on searching. Meets the sky.